go.
Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Car.Ross Sr. And this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. I'd like to make sure I give a shout out to everybody out there that is listening all over the world. I hope you guys are having a great day and you're making it great. Especially right here in North Carolina. Winston-Salem, what's up? The Gate City, Greensboro, North Carolina. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in and checking us out. And keep it locked. Shout out to Brussels, Belgium over there. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. Hey, listen, let's make sure we keep Brittany Griner. Let's keep her in our prayers, folks. She's family. And hopefully things can be rectified. But more importantly, let's make sure she stays safe. Let's pray for her safety while she goes through this time of adversity in her life for her and her family. All right. So listen, I have my very, very, very special guest here, co-host. It's not a guest. My co-host here, my brother, the one and only
Femi Osinowo.
Yes, sir. My African brother. I'm telling you right now, I'm not finna say his name. I almost called him Woo, y'all. Well, I called him Woo early.
I said Woo. Hey, no disrespect, Woo.
Right on,
we
baby.
Love you. We love you, Woo. And you know, we hope you get better and everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
yeah, we definitely praying for your healing, man. You and your family, man. So
yes.
we miss you, bro, over here at the Ross Cloud Podcast. You're a part of the team, fam.
Yes, sir.
So listen, first of all, man, I hope you guys are having like an awesome day today, because we definitely are. It's been a minute since we've done a show.
Oh yeah.
We both have had our fair share of things happen to us.
Right.
I went through my COVID thing, which I thought I was. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought I was immune to it, bro. I was like, I'm good.
Bruh, I told you I had it twice.
Oh wow!
I had it twice, man.
Yeah,
and that COVID, man, it's not something to be rectified with, man.
You know what I'm saying, man?
Telling you,
it's serious. It's still out there.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'll be honest with you. I really thought like, okay, we good. We get through this, but man, you still got to be safe.
Yeah, you have to.
Bleach down your house. Bleach down the inside of your car.
Right.
In here we definitely take precautions,
Right.
Definitely wipe down, bleach, wipe microphones down constantly over and over again. But I
remember you calling me like, baby, man, we gonna be down for a while.
Yeah.
I said, and that's why we've, the African connection has been down for almost 3 weeks,
Great segue.
So
Appreciate you for doing that. Yeah.
But my brother had to get better.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for saying that, thing.
And I've been what's the word,
man? What's the word? What you talking about? You don't know the word.
See,
you've been down. There you go. You've been down for a minute too, though.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? In all fairness,
I had my surgery.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Welcome back too, bro. I'm glad you back. I'm glad everything went well and you safe.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, I'm glad that operation and everything went well.
You've always been there because you had called. You called me like almost every day to check on me.
For sure, man. That was only right. That was only right.
Thanks a lot.
You welcome,
Thanks a lot.
At the end of the day, man, it ain't just about me. It's important that my team members, everybody that's a part of this team,
right?
Because we're a team,
We are.
And it's just good to make sure that everybody is okay. And for me, that was very important. First of all, it was like, man, don't even sweat it. Don't worry about coming, fam.
Right.
Shoot, man, we're going to keep going and keep rocking on, man.
Right.
But I'm glad you back.
Yes, sir.
Glad you back in the building.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, man. And we can go ahead and get right on into it.
Yes.
So, like Femi so eloquently said earlier, we both was down. Everybody was kind of down. He went through a surgery.
Right.
I had COVID. So there was some inconsistency there.
Right.
Because of that. But again, I thank you guys that are those that have been continuing to support those that continue to listen and download, man, we really do appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For staying locked in and staying chimed in with us, because it was a tough time. But, when you're doing something or you're embarking upon something that could possibly change the trajectory of your life, and not just me, but everybody,
right,
then you're going to have challenges. What's that saying that Frederick Douglass says? And this is verbatim, so I'm not accurately saying it the way he did, but he pretty much said in a quote, where there's no struggle, no success.
Right.
So there's going to be struggle. There's going to be adversity before you get to the top.
Right.
And so we embrace it.
Yes.
But we keep going. We don't quit.
No.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people's like, gosh, we haven't heard them in almost 3 weeks, a month. Mm-hmm. But
it has been a month.
It's about a month. It's about a month.
Yeah, man.
And we did that thing with the National Black Fest,
which was cool.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Awesome. It was so beautiful to see us building and connecting and networking with each other. It was just a beautiful time.
Yeah, it was.
A beautiful moment.
It was.
But today, Femi's going to bring us a fact. An African history fact before we get into what we're really talking about. I'm super excited about it because this is something I didn't even know anything about.
Right.
So Femi is going to shed some knowledge on it. So if you would, Femi, kind of give us one of those historical facts that happened. Is this a person?
Yeah, it's a person.
Okay, go ahead.
He's a writer. He's a Nigerian writer. His name is Wole Soyinka. He's very, very popular. He was a professor here in the United States. He wrote a lot of books, poets, and he's a genius, man.
Wow.
This guy, he's a genius in back in those days in Nigeria, where he was one of the best writers. You should check one of his books out.
What's the name of his book?
It's a lot. It's a lot of it's quite. It's quite some of his books that are out there. So
sure.
I'll give you the name and everything, and you could just look him up.
Sure thing.
His books are very, very there's some that are diverse, and there's some that you just learn about life and about he studied back in the UK. Yes,
wow.
this brother at one point. It was during the regime of President Abacha. He was one of those that he spoke his mind. He was an activist. He was one of those, and the president at the time didn't like what he was bringing, or he was bringing that heat.
Sure thing.
He was talking that talk.
Yeah, he wasn't scared.
Yeah, he wasn't scared at all at the time. So He was really one of my really, really good heroes at the time. And, like I said, he studied here in the United States. He was a professor even in Harvard, Yale, Oxford universities.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
He
did it all.
Yes,
no
he
doubt,
did. Yes,
no doubt.
he did. When we get off air, I'll try and give you some of the books that you could look into.
I got you.
And
I hate you ain't got that now, but that's okay though. You still gave us some facts.
Yeah, he's really, really amazing, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Thank you for that. What's his name again?
His name is Wole Soyinka, WOLE, Wole, and his last name is Soyinka. It's SOYINKA, Soyinka. So, very, very talented. He's
awesome.
He's very, very good, and he's one of those old generations.
Gotcha. So he about 50, 60.
So he's in his
70s and 80s.
70s and 80s, yes.
Wow, okay.
Yes.
Very well established.
He's been around for a long time.
Gotcha.
If you talk to anybody that's from Nigeria and you say Wole Soyinka, everybody knows him.
Wow, it's beautiful.
He was
the man.
Yes, he was.
Awesome,
yes, he
man.
was.
Awesome. So listen, today, thank you for that, too.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for that, man.
No doubt.
Give you a hand clap for that, brother. I so appreciate that, man.
Thank you, bro.
That's an important history fact that we got from you, man.
Yeah, and moving forward, like every section that we have on these platforms, I'll bring some of those kind of
please do. Thank you. Yes, that's so important.
Teaching, and some of those name. It could be a place in Nigeria, or it could be a person.
Sounds
that,
great.
I will always just talk about so
Yes.
people could, we could all learn. We could
Absolutely.
all learn.
That's what it's all about. I
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
that, Femi.
Yes, sir.
So it's a great segue for us to continue. And today, in the beginning, we kind of talked about COVID a little bit and, everybody just being kind of down for a moment. But, we are looking at a water crisis in our society right now, whether it's
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm gonna tell you
It's
that was
okay.
great. Yeah, let me tell you something, y'all. Y'all didn't see it, but I knocked my glasses off.
It's okay.
Yeah, I knocked my glasses off trying to switch things around. But again, like I was saying, right now we're seeing that it's just, it's a water crisis going on.
Yeah, water pollution.
Water pollution. But guess what? It's been going on.
Yeah,
It's been going on. This is not something that's been happening, even with the situation in California where there's a drought happening. The water shortage that's happening there in Flint, Michigan, and Jackson, Mississippi. But before we dive into it, we kind of want to talk about these different pollutions. So there are a couple of different types of water pollutions. Okay. So we'll go ahead and get into it. And the first one is, again, we're talking about water pollution, water contamination, but not only just that, but how it's affecting Americans today. And some of those places are in impoverished areas that pretty much deal with us on a whole. And it's affecting us in our communities. And it's not just our communities. We got to think about what's happening down at Camp Lejeune down there with the Marines, with the with the Marine base down there. So it's affecting all of us as Americans, but this is something that's been happening.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and talk about some of those pollutions. The first ones that we have is chemical pollution that happens to water.
Right.
The most common type of water pollution, chemicals, can infiltrate both underground water sources and those sitting on Earth's surface. And so when you think about that, that's chemical pollution.
Right.
So imagine how many chemicals are dropped in a day, Femi.
Right.
When you think in the ground, people pouring oil in their backyard.
Because you have all this industrial facilities where they dumping all this stuff, and all this pollutions. So they, all the industrial factories that we have, where all these chemicals are being dumped in the rivers, in our waters, and so those, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right. So
when you think about it,
it's a problem.
It's a serious problem. Look at what's happening with with these bombs that are being at these plants. Where you got to worry about germ warfare.
Right.
Think about all them germs. Think about all of those chemicals, the chemicals that it takes in order for those germs to work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All those things, if I'm saying that correctly, but all of those things that are made and then they're just dumped.
Right.
Because people they just dump them. Right. And it ends up going into the soil, into the water plants, into all of those things. And then sometimes you just got mean people out here.
Right. We
call it mean, but really that's wickedness.
It is.
When you do stuff like that and you pour it in the water, that's wicked.
It is.
You're a wicked individual. Okay, the next one is groundwater pollution.
Okay.
As mentioned above, agriculture is a key source of water pollution, especially for groundwater. Fertilizer and pesticides applied to crops can seep into the ground and contaminate underwater rivers, water beds, thus compromising the quality of wells, boreholes, and other places for which groundwater is extracted for human use. Wow. So you think about all the farms.
Right.
That right there. Think about everybody that's, now we have hemp farms, have marijuana farms.
Right.
So all of that is affecting, and not just that, the crops that we eat.
Right.
All of that's going into our body.
Right. And
So-
I was gonna say
Go
this
ahead.
before you went into that.
Yeah.
Like even with the water pollution that we was having, like some of the like the
Yes.
fishermen's,
Yes,
they're killing
man.
all you know what I'm saying.
I got what
So-
you're saying. Yeah, all of
so
that's
it-
affecting
yeah,
us.
Yeah, it is.
Even
It
from
is.
the fish that we eat. You're
Right,
right.
right.
The shrimp.
Right.
If it's an oil spill.
Right.
Stuff we don't have no control over.
Yes. Yes.
And so when we think about all of that, that's affecting our world on today.
Right. Right.
What we was getting to earlier, microbiological pollution. Yeah, that's scary. So unlike most others on this list, microbiological pollution is a naturally occurring form of water contamination. Microorganisms such as bacteria, protozoa, and viruses can infiltrate the water supplies, causing disease such as, man, I can't pronounce that. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it.
But you know what?
But y'all get what I'm saying. It's diseases and such. And I studied this.
But
I refuse to say those two words.
And I guarantee you, it's one of those where it causes. Back in Africa.
Yeah, talk about it.
We had a lot of bad water pollution. Like you used to see when maybe United States or just the United Nations bringing water to some of the countries in Africa, dropping water. So you right there would just see some of the things that we go through.
Absolutely,
in Africa.
Yes,
Like,
and that's happening that's happening in Africa probably on a regular, right?
All the time,
Wow.
the time. I mean, and people, they drink these bad waters.
You make a valid point. In India, in those countries, you
Yes.
have that happening over there, and then you have the poor areas here in the United States, especially when you think about Kentucky, areas in Kentucky,
Right.
in Oklahoma,
Yes.
Wyoming.
Yes.
You don't hear about it,
Right.
but you'll be surprised at how some people are living off the grid
Right.
in Kentucky.
Right. Right.
People don't realize it. It's a lot of poverty in Kentucky and those areas right in that little
Right.
area, So, yeah, so that next, but anyway, those things affect humans. We're susceptible to these kind of pollutions in places where adequate water treatment systems are not yet in place. That's another thing. They don't have the resources in order for the water system to be the greatest. So they're still upgrading those things.
Right.
They're still using an old system to try to keep up with a new system, and it's not working.
Right.
That old system needs to be changed,
Right.
so they can evolve.
Right.
That's the word I wanted to use, to evolve,
right.
and to become, make things a little bit better.
Right.
Okay, the next one is nutrient pollution. While they're vital for underwater flora and fauna to flourish, an excess of nutrients can upset the delicate imbalance of a water-based ecosystem. Fertilizers contain a high concentration of nutrients, which, if they contaminate rivers, lakes, coastal areas, can cause algal blooming that can block out sunlight and inhibit the growth of other organisms. So in other words, algae. That way algae blooms, it spreads over that, so it blocks out the sunlight.
Right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yes.
So all of this works together.
Yes.
All right. Oxygen depletion, pollution. Another consequence of algal blooms is their consumption of oxygen supplies. This means that those species which depend upon oxygen to survive are killed off. That's crazy, man. That's oh man. That right there. Think about all those microorganisms, the microorganisms. They, man, I don't even want to think about that. All those harmful toxins that can be produced out of that.
Parasites,
sulfides.
right?
All that stuff is dangerous.
It is
to animals and to humans.
Right,
So it won't just affect us. It will affect everybody.
Right.
And then you have the surface water pollution, and then we'll move on, referring to all water sources above ground, such as rivers, lakes, seas, and oceans. Surface water pollution can occur both naturally, accidentally,
right,
and intentionally.
Yeah.
What we was just saying, somebody
like,
wicked and evil.
Right, just dumping stuff.
So all of that can affect how good, the quality of the water. And so when you think about all of this, man, when you think about everything that we just talked about, it number one is scary to think that someone
it really is.
you already have, like stated, those things that are accidental that you have no control of, like oil spills,
right?
And those things happen,
right?
Because humans err,
right?
They make mistakes,
right?
Just what you were saying a few minutes ago about these big plants,
right?
Those plants, they spill chemicals,
right?
I mean, think about how many biological plants.
Oh yeah.
Think about biologists.
Yeah.
Biologists, excuse me. Think about
biologists.
Yeah, think about the type of work that they do,
right?
And the plants that they work in, working with germs, working with different microorganisms, just microorganisms.
Right.
Just think about that.
Those chemists.
Right. People spill chemicals.
Right.
Think about, you remember that big, I can't think of the name of it, but do you remember that big lawsuit that was going on about it kills weeds? You spray it on the weeds, and it dies.
Yeah.
Think about the people that make those chemicals.
Right.
How many spills have been made and we don't know anything about it?
And a few years back,
pesticides.
Yeah.
Those different pesticides that people, those chemicals, man, those are chemicals, and they have plants.
Right.
That put those chemicals together.
Right.
How many mistakes have been made?
Right.
And it's in the ground right now, and we don't even know. Femi, I'm about to call you Woo again. Femi.
I'm Woo today, y'all.
You Woo today, I know, right? But go ahead, though.
What I was going to say about, it wasn't about, and don't quote me.
No, you fine.
Maybe about 10, 15 years ago, we had one of these pollution where spill chemicals they was trying to get all these birds out the river.
Oh yeah.
We had this like
it might have been an oil spill.
Yeah, that oil spill, like
BP oil spill that happened.
Exactly.
And they was talking, at that time they were talking about that was that big thing with BP.
Right.
They had a big oil spill that was.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was big.
Yeah,
I remember that because I
remember
Dawn started doing commercials because they was cleaning the ducks.
Exactly,
it was cleaning the ducks off with the Dawn.
Right. And it was a big thing.
It was, man, and it was a horrible thing that happened. It killed fish.
Yes,
because those. I remember the fishermen and the shrimp.
You should have seen all the fish that was flowing.
Yeah,
on top of the all
man.
the dead fish that was flowing.
And not only that, think about what happened with Duke Energy.
Yes. Yes.
They had that big lawsuit happen where they dumped all the whatever that stuff was.
Right.
And it messed up. It was a mess.
It did.
And it seeped in the water.
Yes.
So again, this is what we're talking about: accidental and intentional.
Right.
We don't know who got pissed off or mad at. I mean, anything could have happened.
Right.
Nuclear plants.
Right.
When you think about that, those are spills.
Yeah.
And they can spill. You talking about people dealing with radiation.
Right.
They spill that stuff sometimes. Think about all the battery plants across this world.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. Solar energy.
Yes,
and that's where the Duke Energy came.
Man, they had a huge spill.
Oh, yes. They did.
That was a bad mistake.
It was.
Or was it intentional? Because they were dumping it. They was dumping it illegally is what happened.
Right.
And boy, that stuff, it looked like green sludge.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing that.
I remember.
Thing,
I remember.
But, all of those things right there affect our water system.
It does.
So, which gives us a great segue to talk about, first of all, what's been happening in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, they've
been going through it.
10,
I think it was. I want to say 2014 is when it first hit. Or was it 2016, somewhere
about
in there.
10 years ago. Right,
and they're still recovering from that, bro.
Right.
And I remember watching the news, and I remember they were showing what the water looks like. They was taking the water and they was putting it in bottled waters. And it was affecting our community.
Right.
Because when you think about Flint, Michigan, it's predominantly black, man.
Yes.
Flint, Michigan is almost black. It's a chocolate city.
Right. And I'll tell you another place.
Go ahead.
Remember Louisiana?
Yes.
When they went through.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It was a mess.
Right.
That's right. When Katrina hit.
They
was going through a water problem down there, and that water, people was getting sick.
Right.
Drinking the water.
Right.
So I remember that.
Yeah.
E. coli.
Yeah.
So a lot of E. coli running rampant through there.
Right.
So when you think about all the germs and just everything about that situation.
Right.
Sewer pipes. So the sewer was infiltrating inside of the drinking water.
Right.
And the pipes wouldn't run right.
Right.
And it's seeping into your drinking water. Man, do you know how sick you'll get doing that?
Oh, yeah.
So even though the state of Michigan, they remain committed to fixing it, to rebuilding it, to recover and to rebuild. Listen to this. The state provided more than $350 million to Flint, in addition to the $100 million from the federal, $100 million that came from the federal government. So that's $450 million, right? And all of which is to helping with the water quality improvements, pipe replacements, healthcare, food resources, educational resources, job training, and creation, and more.
Right.
So not only are they dealing with that, here's what I want to tell you. The Flint Water Quality Update. This is a great date. It's been since July 2016.
Ooh.
The city of Flint's water system has met state and federal standards for lead in drinking water for 12 consecutive monitoring periods.
Wow.
The latest 6-month round of monitoring shows Flint's 90th percentile at 10 parts per billion below the requirement of 15 ppb. Flint has conducted to determine service lines material composition at approximately 95% of the residential location. And on here, it has like this great, graph here. But of course, right now, we can't show you that. So hopefully at some point, we can kind of let people look at the graph and see exactly what we're talking about. So just imagine that they're still dealing with that.
Right.
And my question is, how long does it take to get those pipes? I must say, though, plumbing is very expensive. I don't care what you're doing. That is a very, very expensive thing to have done. When I think about people who had new septic systems put in, and some people that was the other thing. You have people that are living in rural areas, Femi, that live in rural areas, they still using well water.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And they may need to upgrade upgrade their septic system.
Right.
It may be too small.
Right.
And some of that stuff is seeping inside of the soil.
Right.
Think about all that.
Right.
Think about that. Everything that's coming out of you, the feces, the pee, vomit. I hate to be very,
I know what
graphic
and
about
also,
it, but it's true because that's the only way you can take it serious.
Right.
For those who are listening, you have to take it serious. I mean, that's feces coming out of your body. It's urine.
Right.
That's vomit.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to be graphic about it.
Right.
People spitting, just whatever.
Right. Even those spring waters.
Correct.
Right, you know
all
what I'm
that
saying?
stuff
like,
can go in. That stuff can seep.
Go
and get into the water.
The water stream.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And half, most Americans, when you think about it, most Americans, they can't afford to upgrade their septic system because plumbing is expensive.
It is.
Not unless you can do it, not unless you're financially able. But think about those that don't have the ability to do that, Femi.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got to find out a way, maybe that can be something that the government can do for people for the sake of saving the water. It's just a thought.
It is. And you know what, Ross? Why? And I know before we was talking about the Flint, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
I know there are people that do all these studies.
I know, right?
All these studies, but I know before it got real bad or got worse.
Yeah, man.
I know somebody was like, "Look, we need to pay attention to what's going on because this is not
good.
Oh, it's fine.
We'll be all right.
And then
that's another thing.
Why is it that we have to wait till it gets worse
yeah.
and then spend millions of dollars to try and fix something that we could have just prevented from in the first place?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't get the logic. I don't get the logic with a lot of.
I get what you're saying, and this is supposedly the richest country in the world.
Yes,
I'm just saying.
Yes,
this is the United States,
right? But we always trying to help every other country. If another country is going through, we on it.
We own it, baby.
But right here in our own backyard, we can't. I never understood.
I never understood it either. That's just like now. I am glad that we have. I can't think of that nonprofit organization, but it's Feed America.
FEMA.
Nah, Feed America.
Okay.
Feed. It's a. I know what you're talking about. FEMA. I know what you're talking about. Right. Yes, sir. But there is a campaign that you see on a regular.
Okay.
So you got. Feed America.
Right.
It's called. I think that's what it's called. Feed America. I don't know who the CEO of. I want to say Tyler Perry got something to do with that, but don't quote me on that.
Right.
But it's a Feed America campaign.
Okay.
And I'm so glad for people like that. So far as they're doing it, and Billy Graham's son, the Samaritan Ministries. I think it's called Samaritan Ministries.
Okay.
They're doing some great things in our community to help and aid in some of these things. And, we're glad for those folks that are stepping up, that are doing that. But think about all of our food pantries.
Right.
I don't mean to get off task, but,
no.
we thinking about food. We thinking about water.
Right.
We thinking about all of that. And again, that's a great point that you brought. We always go across abroad to help everybody else. But here's the thinking, I think what it is. I think because we're in America and because it's the greatest country in the world, that you can take nothing and make something out of it. And because we're driven off of capitalism, folks feel like, well, you can make it.
Right.
You down because you want to be down.
Right.
But that may not be the case. Some people might just really, really need some help. So think about it. Look at the food situation. Some people still recovering from COVID, man.
Right.
Businesses, homeowners, families, they're still dealing with the backlash of COVID because COVID hit hard.
It did.
And it's still here.
And it is.
We can't ignore it. It's
we just
still
talked
here.
about it.
We just talked about
right.
it. So it's still here. So people are still dealing with some of the backlash of COVID.
Right.
So here we are now, water. We got a water problem right now here in America. When we think about what's happening right now, which gives me a great segue to what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi.
Right.
But again, Femi, how many cities, small town, rural areas, states are dealing with this water, but they're not talking about it? Nothing's been said. Like, I didn't even know.
That's a real good point.
Yeah, bro, because think about it, man. When Flint first came out about this, I remember people saying, "Oh, they've been going through that." And you're sitting there like, "What?"
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
how long has this been going on? It says 2014, 2016.
So
but when did y'all start seeing the cases of lead being in the water, though? That's like just what you said. Who was proactive? Where is the awareness and proactiveness? Proactiveness is even a word. I made it sound good, don't it?
Hey, we gonna use that.
We gonna use that proactiveness.
Right.
This is America, though, right? We can call it whatever we want to call it, right?
Hey, you listen to Stephen A. Smith.
I love that cat, though.
I know.
Proactiveness. But basically what I'm saying is, where's the awareness in all of that? So lead in the water now, bro?
Right.
So if lead is in the water, how long has lead been seeping in the water? That's just like in Katrina. We still don't know what's happening, everything that's happening down there in New Orleans, man. You know, when I think about nuclear warfare, when I think about what's happening at Camp Lejeune, when I think about our soldiers have gone over and fought war and the contamination that they suffered from drinking water.
Air contamination.
Man. So it's a lot that I feel like we still not addressing. And
we're going to address all of it.
Oh, we're going to address all of it. So before I get off and go off to the left.
Right. I know, man.
It's easy to do, though.
Your compassion.
Man.
It's just your compassion. You passionate about what you do. So,
because now it's affecting humans. It's not just, at some point we all have to get away from, I'm just worrying about me and mine.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Yeah, you do have to take care of yours, but there's a whole nother thing happening outside of your world, outside of your bubble.
Right.
There are people who are sick. There are people who are less fortunate than you.
Right. Yeah.
And they dying, and their families are suffering.
I'm gonna tell you something. Don't let's say just less fortunate people, even
wealthy,
wealthy people
are going through.
I'm gonna tell you this same water that we're talking about is used to make a lot of different things.
Great point.
All the drinks that we have, water is
great
water
point.
So it's not just for the less fortunate people.
Great point.
It's for everybody.
Everybody. Great point.
Is for everybody, because water is used to make thousands and millions of things that
you make a valid point. Thank you for that.
Like the Kool-Aids and all the sodas that we drink and all the
they require water.
It requires. Wow. So it's
big fact. Right. That's a big blow to that whole area. Who's ever dealing with the water situation? You're right. It's affecting everyone.
It is.
And I know we highlight, I guess, we highlight those that are impoverished because we feel like, well, they can't move.
Right.
Like they have to stay where they are.
Right.
But if you got money, you can
always make that call.
But we, at the same time, to your point, is they're feeding their families too.
Right.
Even though they, to the physical eye, it looks like they have it all. But like we always say, more money, more problems.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's fact. So they go through their problems may not be as big as the person that may have less than them.
Right.
Our problems are magnified because we can't find a way out.
Right.
Or we don't have the resources to get out.
Right.
So I think that's why, or let me say this, or the resources are available and we don't have the knowledge or the know-how to get to the resource.
Right.
Let's say that.
Right.
We don't have access
to
those resources.
Right.
Or in some cases, we just ain't trying to get to the resource so that we can get the necessary.
It's
got a lot to do with it.
Oh, it has to get really, really bad
for us to move. Ain't that the truth?
Right.
When we should be kind of just like aware and being proactive and go ahead and do it. So listen, we don't went on a tangent about this. So let's talk about what's happening down there in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
So about 150,000 residents in Jackson were without safe water. Problems at one of the town's 2 water treatment plants has has left many without water at all to drink, Femi.
Wow.
And again, this article is coming. Let me make sure I give props to this article. This is at the democracylabs.org. It's thedlabs.org. So make sure you go back. And really the title of this is Jackson, Mississippi, Mapping the Racism in Contaminated Water. That's the top article.
Wow.
And this is DEM Labs. Again, this is Democracy Labs. So the title is DEM Labs. The author, whoever penned this, it says DEM Labs blog. So this is a blog that was written up, and I'm just reading verbatim what's on the page, but it's a very interesting blog. So it has left many without water to drink, brush teeth, or flush their toilets.
Oof.
You know how horrible that is that you can't get rid of the feces out of your toilet, bro? Think about that. Something as simple as you brushing your teeth and flushing your water. There's fluoride supposedly in the water so your teeth don't rot out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
All of those things are to help with your health.
Right.
So residents, now here's the caveat. Residents in the majority black city, because Jackson, Mississippi is majority black.
Right.
Just as well as Flint.
Right.
All right. We got to make that point.
Right.
All right. And again, just because we're highlighting that it's majority black doesn't mean that we're racist. It means that we're bringing awareness, that we're being vigilant, to know what's happening in our world, so that people
and in
understand.
our society.
And in our society. It's just a fact.
Right.
So if you're offended by this, I don't feel sorry. I don't feel sorry. You don't have to listen. But the point that we're making is we wanted to highlight this so people can understand, number one, there are folks out there who need help. Let's get that water to Flint. Let's get that water to Jackson, Mississippi. So I digress. So residents in the majority black city have been on boil water notice. Wait a minute, Femi.
Wow.
Wait a minute, Femi. Since late July. Now, this has been happening since July.
And we in September.
We in September, fam.
I told you they always wait till it gets that bad.
Wait, I ain't finished. And they have faced water supply problems in the past.
See there?
From lead concerns.
See there?
To cold snap last year that left residents without water for weeks. And this was from MSN News. So listen to this. Should clean water be a privilege for only privileged Americans? And again, this is written from the Democracy Labs, and it's thedemlabs.org. You can go back and you can read this information for yourself. So, should clean water be a privilege for only privileged Americans? It's just a question that's being asked by them. It's a blog. Why do Trump Republicans vote against federal funding that would provide clean water and improve infrastructure for their black constituents? Listen to this. These are questions that are being asked on this blog, and I think they're legitimate questions.
It is, but
it is. I know it's got your eyebrows raised. It did me too. When I read the blog, I said, "Go in, fam." So listen to this. And then it says, "What can we do to help ensure every American gets clean drinking water?" And then it says, "First start by understanding how racism contaminates the Mississippi water supply." Ooh, boy, that's fire.
You understand what's going on, right?
You understand what's happening, right? Okay, so we got Flint. We got Jackson, Mississippi. We got what happened down there with Katrina in New Orleans.
You know what's crazy?
It's a connect, baby.
All this connection that you talking about, let's take it to California.
California.
And guess what? They straight, when they had those problems in California,
Yes,
you
sir.
see how fast they had to resolve all of those
Had to
stuff.
fix it.
Right.
Immediate.
Because we talk about Hollywood. We talk about Los Angeles.
Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills.
Yes, sir. Rodeo Drive.
But when it comes to Flint, Michigan,
and Jackson, Mississippi.
you're right. Those are some of the questions that people.
Where Deion Sanders is highlighting the HBCUs.
Oh yes.
Okay, we ain't gonna even mess with that.
No.
I mean, but we gonna keep it right in the water, though, my brother. All right. Now listen, man. We want to make sure everybody understands that it's important that you stay vigilant.
Yes.
You got to understand everything that's happening around.
You got to think outside the box sometimes.
I think outside the box. It's not about being racist, because I love everybody.
No. We love everybody.
But
we do.
If you don't read, if you don't pick up a book,
Or
educate yourself, then you won't understand how traditions sometimes need to be broken.
Yes.
And they go back, they're deep-rooted traditions that sometimes is very, very hard for people to change.
Man, talk about it, bro.
They don't want to change.
Talk about it.
And so here we are, we're sitting here like, it's got to be a change though, fam.
Talk about it, Ross.
Yes, man. Traditions need to be broken.
Yeah.
And it's across the board with every goddamn thing.
Yes.
So what we looking at is a tradition, fam.
My brother said every goddamn.
Every goddamn. When it comes to religion, when it comes to belief system, when it comes to family.
You're right.
Traditions have to be broken in order for us to progress and move forward.
Yes.
I don't give a damn who you are.
And change.
Change is good. But you know what's so funny? People don't like to change.
But because they stuck in their ways. They stuck in
traditions.
They stuck in those old 19
fam, it's a new
30s
day.
and 40s and 50s and 60s ways where they just think everything has to stay the same. No. Change sometimes it brings unity.
Yes.
Change sometimes brings
and
happiness, joy.
Unify. I think
there you go.
I think sometimes, Femi, great point too, family.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sometimes, man, I think that people are, again, traditions.
Yes, sir.
People don't like to change, but also people don't like to bring up historical moments, because history helps you understand why this happened, where it happened, what was the cause behind it happened, because there's always a cause and effect to everything.
Right.
So I'm going to read this right here. And again,
before you say that,
go ahead.
I like to say this. Do you know the reason being where change a lot? Because when you're in a country where division, it's so many things that's been divided.
Yes.
And when you're trying to bring something that's been divided, bring it all back together,
it's hard.
It is hard.
It's very hard, man.
We talking about two races.
I take deep breaths sometimes, because I wish, I think for all of us, we're grateful for the change that has happened. Don't get me wrong.
Yes,
so
sir.
We're not. I want to make sure I say that clearly, because some people will say, man, you just complaining. No, the hell we not.
Nah.
This is fact that we're speaking on.
Yes.
I think sometimes we forget it wasn't just 1963 wasn't, 1960 wasn't, bro.
No.
I mean, I want you to really
Civil rights.
Civil rights.
Right.
And
right.
those different things that happen.
Right.
That's still kind of, what?
It's still, look around, bro.
Look how long it took us to
right.
get to this point. So we're still feeling the backlash of it, but it's just done in a systemic way now.
Right.
It's different.
Right.
There's a system to it now that's in place.
Right.
And it's so hard for us to break away from, and even
and
us.
Who's the system for?
So listen to this. I want to read this to you.
Okay.
That they have on this blog. And this is the Democracy Labs. Again, this is their blog. All right.
Democracy Labs.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is a great blog.
Okay.
Too.
Gotcha.
It's Dem Labs blog. Okay. It's their blog.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this to you. A tale of two communities in black and white.
I just said that.
Just said that. More than 80% of Jackson's residents are black. The result of a gradual exodus of white, wealthier residents into the suburbs after racial integration of public schools. Listen to this year, 1970. That wasn't too long ago, fam.
1970.
It's a long time ago.
About 40-some years ago.
Correct, Femi. So when you think about that trauma,
40, 50 years.
yeah, come on, man. It's really not that long ago.
No.
It is a long time
It
ago.
is, but
it's not that long ago because I'm 51.
Right.
It's not that long ago.
Right.
My parents went through that. Your parents saw that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's still a blow to them.
Right.
Now, they're doing well for themselves because education and they made some changes in their own personal life. But that's in 1970 that happened. About a quarter of Jackson's residents live in poverty. The city has lost tax revenue. And over the years, water surface has gotten increasingly expensive. And the infrastructure harder and pricier to maintain. There has been an overall lack of investment in infrastructure, said Perry, an expert in economic inclusion and equality. And I quote, he said, infrastructure is a shared responsibility among local and state leaders, which can make it difficult to coordinate investments.
Wow.
Inevitable crisis storms will come. However, Jackson always ends up taking 2 steps back whenever there's a crisis, he said.
Wow.
This is quintessential example of how structural racism plays out in this country. And again, that's by Emmett.
Wow. And look, before you even read that,
I know.
Before you even read that, I just said it.
You just said it.
That's why
I read it.
That's why I said change in this country. And, you know, we're just talking. This the platform where, you know, a lot of you guys will listen and I want you guys to just take it all in.
Take it all in. Like we're not spewing venom. We're just quoting facts.
Right.
These are facts.
Right.
You know, because again, this platform was created to motivate and to inspire.
Yes.
So hopefully this motivates you to be a little bit more vigilant, to pick up a book and read, to be aware of your surroundings.
Right.
It's good for you to know exactly what's going on around you so you know how to move accordingly.
Right.
But go ahead.
The reason being that I'm saying this is because I came from a background where, you know, culture, tradition plays a part in where I came from. And coming to United States back when I came, you know, I've been here almost 30 years.
Wow. Got you.
You know, even though I was born here, but I still know the culture, my background, you know, and just when you say change between two races, it's hard, man.
Yeah, it's difficult for some people.
It's hard, and people don't want to believe.
Yeah,
people want to believe what they want to believe,
but
you know, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah, that's facts.
The truth is always going to be the truth.
Yeah,
whether you believe or not, the truth is always going to be the truth.
Yeah,
and it's always going to prevail.
Always prevailing. That's right. So, listen, I hope you guys have heard something on today that can help you become just a little bit better.
Yes, sir.
And you know what, Femi? I think it's probably one of our better shows.
I think so.
You know,
I really do.
And although, listen, guys, we don't act as if we're experts on this.
No.
But if you read and you got a mind,
right,
then it will begin to make sense to you.
Right.
You know, if you read the Constitution, it'll help you understand even better.
Yes.
I just think it's just a matter of us all, black and white, just being aware of some of the traditions and then understanding why some of those traditions need to change.
Yes.
And in closing, you know, as it pertains to the structural part of what we see happen, I mean, how many times have you driven down Randaman Road and the roads are jacked up? How many times have you driven down Florida Street and the roads are jacked up? When we talk about structural
Martin Luther King,
if you go through Winston-Salem, North Carolina, if you go through Fayetteville, if you go through some of these cities where, some of these towns where it's not the greatest for people. And unfortunate, you know, that's just what it is.
It's always the same.
It takes a little bit
structure.
longer for those roads to get fixed. And then our cars get towed up. Our cars get damaged. So, you know, we're not trying to make this seem as, you know, we're complaining or
no.
The facts are the facts, fam.
Like you said, this platform is to inspire
and to motivate
and motivate and also teach
and to teach. Yeah,
you know, to teach.
You know, there's so many resources that are available online. If we would just read, you know, I'm not a big news buff, but I do pay attention to certain details so I understand how I need to move.
Right.
You need to stock up on your water. You need to be buying bottled water like crazy. Bottled water. You need to be buying everything for your house. You need to be just having it in storage somewhere.
Right.
So that you can just have it for the future.
Right.
You know, I used to laugh at people that were building these shelters, underground shelters. It ain't funny.
No, it's not. That's real.
That's real. You better get an underground shelter and get to building and stacking your stuff up.
Oh yeah.
Because after a while, you won't be able to do it.
Right.
But anyway, that's another topic.
That's
another topic.
Right. That's another topic.
Listen, this is the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Car.Ross Sr.
And I'm Femi Osinowo.
Thank you guys for listening. Make it a great day and keep being great. Peace.